Get your robes ready.
Many years ago, I remember playing Gauntlet on the C64 and being completely engrossed by it. Years later, I played Chaos Engine on the Amiga and was really loving that too. And years later, still, I played Diablo on the PC and it taking all the good stuff from Gauntlet and adding role-playing game. But now we play Magicka, which sort of has turned the time back because it's actually taking some of the complexity out of Diablo and added multiplayer instead.
Yeah.
And you've also been playing it.
Yeah. Well, Magicka is about 4 wizards, or 1, 2, 4 wizards, that's being sent on a quest by Vlad, their teacher, who is not a vampire.
Who is not a vampire.
It's very important to make that clear, he's not a vampire. And, well, I say 1 to 4 because you can play it as a single-player game, and then you can play it as a co-op game up to 4 players, and everybody controls a wizard.
Mm-hmm.
And to be frank, it is a multiplayer game.
Most definitely.
Playing it single player is kind of pointless. It's fun, but you
and a
miss
horrible
out.
experience.
And a horrible experience for you at least, since you suck. But it's you miss out on what makes Magicka really fun, and that's the complete and utter chaos that you end up with multiple players.
Yeah, definitely.
Because the thing is with these small wizards, they have 8 different elements that they control, and you can charge up to 5 times with one element, or you can mix them up. So for example, you can throw a giant boulder at the enemies if you just charge up stone, but if you put some fire in there, it's suddenly a flaming boulder. Or you can put some fire in your lightning. It's kind of fun. Yeah, all kinds of combinations. There's a lot of different spells.
And that is actually the crux of the game, that you're able to combine all these elements and kind of experiment and just find all sorts of weird and funny spells that you can apply to the rest of the world.
Yeah. And also, very important in this, is that friendly fire is always on.
And it's a big part of the game.
Yes, you will die a lot, and you will probably die as often because of either your own mistakes, like setting yourself on fire, or your friends that accidentally throws that flaming boulder a bit too close to you.
Because it wants the loot you just picked up.
Yeah.
Big part of the game.
So and the game makes that clear, that it's a game about dying a lot, and you will die a lot. But of course your friends can resurrect you.
Yeah.
Quickly.
But what is pretty amazing about the game, to me at least, is also what kind of breaks the experience at certain points of time, because you have 8 buttons, 1 button for each of the different elements that you control, and you also have to control the character. And that means a lot of different commands, especially because the game implores you to just explore all the different combinations. The elements apply to yourself. So for instance, if you plow through a little lake and you want to use lightning, you're actually going to electrocute yourself. And that sounds like a really fun idea, and at times is. But at certain other times, when you just want to deal damage and you can't understand why you suddenly die, you realize that it's because the elements had some sort of negative effect on you. And I mean, the game does tell you that this will happen, but I do wish that there was some kind of maybe visual clue that would inform you that you're currently doing harm to yourself. Especially because a lot of times there are a lot of enemies on screen and you also have 4 players and it just turns into utter chaos. So it can be kind of a random experience at times unless you're really good at the game. And I would just like more control, I guess.
Yeah, but it's a big part. You kind of have to accept that the game will be a completely chaotic experience. If you like to have full control all the time, then probably Magicka isn't for you. Or at least you can have many hours trying to learn the different combinations and just having them in the muscle memory. Because yeah, some elements of course don't work together. You can't throw a fire water spell; they just cancel each other out, and there's. Perhaps you don't notice that during a fight, and all of this. You can also die very quickly, especially the water and lightning example.
Yeah.
That will kill you.
Also, when talking about frustration, we can't deny that the game is still full of a lot of bugs.
Yes.
Multiplayer, for instance, well, you have some funny stories, don't you?
Well, it's multiplayer, especially multiplayer, is a very, very, very buggy experience still. Arrowhead they're patching like crazy. They released a patch almost every day. But it's still, you know, we had crashes, some really weird, there's a fight against a troll early on in the game, and that troll just kept respawning, and we kept freezing, and there's a lot of weird stuff going on. And crash to desktop, that's quite common, sadly.
And it's made even worse by the fact that this really is a multiplayer game. The game has clearly not, in my opinion, been balanced as a single-player game, and the waypoints are just all kinds of messed up as we speak right now, so you will have to restart some levels like really, really long ways back, whereas others will just let you respawn almost instantaneously.
Yeah. So they have a lot of work still ahead of them. It's hard to say. I really like Magicka. I think it's, in multiplayer I'm just laughing my head off. I can kind of accept that chaotic part of the game. So in a while it's going to be a fun, hopefully solid multiplayer game.
Yeah.
Right now it's a buggy mess at times.